Welcome everybody to the Yoga Philosophy Group, coming to you from the Yoga Center of Chico. I'm Lauren Carley, and with me is Tom Hess. In this series, we are currently studying the Bhagavad Gita and how it relates to your life. We're using the translation by Eknath Easwaran. I can unbury it off my stack. It's kind of like this, but you can use any translation you like. We're currently studying chapter 11, the cosmic vision. Each session is recorded and can be, as we're doing right now, and can be found on the Yoga Center of Chico's YouTube channel. So I invite you to go there and subscribe to that channel. Each live session is at the YCC and is also broadcast via Zoom. These occur on the fourth Thursday of every month from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Anyone can join in these free sessions. For more information and to get onto the email list, you can contact me, lbscarley@gmail.com, or Yogi, Y-O-G-I, Tom @comcast.net. Or just go to the YCC, the Yoga Center Chico website, and the contact information is there. I'll be back after Tom's presentation of chapter 11 with a suggestion on how you might relate this chapter, the cosmic vision, to your life. Now, I am very honored to introduce our presenter for chapter 11, Tom Hess.
Thank you, Lauren. Well, here we are in chapter 11. We've more than halfway through the Bhagavad Gita, and the title of this chapter is called the Cosmic Vision. And many people consider this the most important chapter in the Gita because Krishna is showing Arjuna what he is, who he is, what he looks like, the vision of God, if you will. And that's why it's very important. So previous to this, there's been a number of chapters. The 10th chapter, Krishna was just describing his attributes, his own attributes, all of the qualities he has. And then before that, though, the beginning chapters, we started to look at Krishna as just a charioteer. And over the series of chapters, Krishna has really changed quite a bit in Arjuna's eyes, and it's sort of the revelation of the Gita, Krishna's revelation to Arjuna, and this is the ultimate. So due to this series of chapters and educative talks that Krishna has given Arjuna has lost much of his delusion, much of his ignorance about yoga in general, but he hasn't really quite crossed the line into true discipleship, if you will. And this is the thing that will help him do that. To do this, though, you can't do it with normal vision. It has to be something called the cosmic vision, or Arjuna gets these special power from Krishna to see it, because you can't really see this entity with just bare eyes. And remember, this isn't unique in the Gita. We've all the author has given Sanjaya, the narrator of the story, really, who is narrating it to Dhritarashtra, the blind king. He has already given Sanjaya the power to listen from afar, to see from afar. So these mystical powers this isn't the first instance of this. So anyway, Krishna gives Arjuna the mystical power of spiritual vision, it's called. Then Krishna goes on to say, behold the wonders you have never seen before, all of the worlds within Krishna. So then it switched back to Sanjaya, the narrator of the whole story, and he's telling Dhritarashtra, Krishna reveals himself to Arjuna. Arjuna sees 1,000 suns, jewels, weapons, a multitude of faces, the infinite Lord. Arjuna sees Krishna as the God of gods. He is the source of all wonders. He is all of the forms of the universe, which we will call Prakriti as opposed to Purusha, live within Krishna. So Arjuna sees this and his hair stands on it. And it's just, wow, this is, first of all, nobody's ever seen this before. Second of all, it's beyond words almost. He's in ecstasy. His hair's on him. He's in ecstasy. It's like he sees 1,000 suns. It's beyond description, really. But Arjuna goes ahead and wants to describe it. And he says, so Arjuna is saying, I'm seeing all of the gods, the creatures, Brahma on his lotus, the arms and mouth of Krishna is embodied in every form everywhere, or all of the arms and legs of all of the forms everywhere are embodied in Krishna. He is without beyond beginning, middle, and end. He is beyond time. This is sort of an important philosophical idea to infuse in here, this idea of time in the Gita. Because if you really look at the concept of time, which Krishna embodies, is that all things end in time. All things die in time. So the death of all is inevitable, which is pretty much Krishna's argument at the very beginning of the Gita. So we're looking at it through the context of time. Krishna has a crown, he has a mace. So weapons are very important, right? They're in the battlefield. So he's got a mace, one of the more powerful weapons. He is like the fiery sun, or light in every direction. So this concept, this philosophical idea of light in two ways, the light of the sun, or the light of illumination, and the light of weight, are sort of themes that go through much of these spiritual teachings. And here's another example of it. Krishna's presence is felt everywhere. He is the supreme changeless reality. So these words are important when you start to think of Prakriti and Purusha, because changeless reality is that's the definition of Purusha. So all of the things of both Prakriti, which is all of nature, and Purusha, which is all of spirit, are contained within Krishna. His presence is everywhere. He is the refuge of all creation. His eyes are like the sun and the moon. His mouth is full of fire. All of the three worlds trembling before the form. So the three worlds they're referring to is heaven, earth, and the atmosphere. Okay, so pretty much everything that we know in the natural world. All of the gods and saints revere him, and he is feared. Feared in the sense that he can bring destruction, and does, always, all the time. So that's the thing that people fear about Krishna, is destructive power. He's equated to Vishnu, the sustainer. Vishnu is one of the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay. God, the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. And Vishnu is the sustainer of all life. And that he is filled with Vishnu's radiance. And at this point, Arjuna has sort of lost his courage and lost his peace of mind, and he is full of this fear of death that Krishna will inevitably bring. And so he asks Krishna to have mercy on him, because he sees warriors dying all around him when he looks in Krishna's mouth. But then he goes on to ask Krishna, he sees death and creation all within Krishna, all within his mouth. And at the end of this little time right there, he asks, Krishna, who are you really? You confound me. You're all of these everything. So just imagine that you're looking at everything and you're a little bit confused about it. What is things? Where are things? And Krishna says, I am time, destroyer of all. We come back to this concept of time, because within time, all things are destroyed. All will die. Why be concerned? And this is where we come back to that first chapter where he talks about Arjuna doing his dharma. And Arjuna's Dharma, of course, is fighting. He's a warrior. So Krishna tells Arjuna once again, fight, because they all are dead anyway. Everybody's dead anyway. Why worry about it? The most important thing that you as an individual can do is your Dharma. Don't worry about the outcome. He'll take care of that. Arjuna then turns into Krishna's instrument of death. Krishna is encouraging him to do his Dharma. His Dharma is to kill. He's encouraging them. And then we switch back to Sanjaya. That was Krishna talking to Arjuna. Now we have Sanjaya talking to Dhritarashtra. And he's saying, Arjuna is afraid. He is trembling. He addresses Krishna stammering almost. You know, it's at this point, he's turned into like Krishna is an idol to him. It's like he's trembling. He's so afraid of him. He's in ecstasy. So it's ups and downs of the emotional state of Arjuna in this interaction with Krishna. And then Arjuna says, how could the world not worship Krishna? He is the abode of the universe. His form pervades the universe. He is God of stuff. He existed before creation, and he will never cease to be. Another reference to time. If he existed before the creation of mankind or the creator of the universe, and he's going to live much after that, not cease to live after that, gives you a concept of it, a new way of looking at it. He is beyond duality. He is the first of all amongst all the gods. He is everything. He is the god of wind, the god of fire, the god of death, the god of water. And then Arjuna, again, we have to look a little bit about the historical relationship between Krishna and Arjuna. And Arjuna asks forgiveness from Krishna for all of the wrongs he might have done him when he thought he was either one of their peers when they were practicing their warriorhood, or when Krishna was a charioteer for Arjuna. Arjuna says, please forgive me if I treated you inappropriately in any of those instances. He did not really know who Krishna really was. And Krishna is the greatest of the greatest of the gurus. If you understand the guru relationship in the Hindu pantheon of gods, you'll understand that this is a very important relationship. And Arjuna eventually asks for forgiveness. And then he asked Krishna to take him away from seeing the thousand-headed Krishna and back to just the four, because the thousand-headed Krishna was too much for Arjuna to really take in. Maybe that was some of the reasons he was ups and downs in the emotional state when he, like he did previously, when he was fearful and in ecstasy, stammering, trembling, things like that. And of course, Krishna does that. He makes the vision less powerful. And then Krishna says to Arjuna that you are the only one that has ever seen this. You will be the only one who ever sees this. This is a spiritual, unique vision for you. And then Krishna consoles Arjuna, because Krishna knows what a powerful vision he himself is. So he knows it's difficult for Arjuna, so he consoles him. So we get back to this whole idea of how can we unite with Krishna? As it's started at the beginning, we've been talking about all the ways that we can unite with Krishna. And it's gotten to the point where Arjuna is in this chapter saying, wow, how can I do this? It seems like such a daunting task, such a big hurdle to be united with you, when he's talking to Krishna. And Krishna goes on to say, anyone can attain this union with Krishna. Whoever makes Krishna his supreme Lord without attachment, who has devotion to Krishna, has no ill will towards anyone, will enter into Krishna. Unfailing devotion, you can see me, know me, attain union with me. So there is hope for all of us in this journey. That's the message, but it's a huge journey. Anyway, we're all on the task together. Thank you. That's chapter 11.
Thank you, Tom. So this now begs the question of what do we do with this chapter? Here's a suggestion that you might want to try. So it's interesting in the literature of yoga from the past, particularly the medieval period, up into, I'll say, the first half of this millennium, that most of them don't describe, if anything, this may be the only document that describes an actual cosmic vision or attempts to describe it. So let's take advantage of it. We are put in the position of Arjuna, the common person, or offered this opportunity. Well, we know from our yoga practice and other documents that one of the things to do is to still the fluctuations of the mind. Now that comes from the second sutra of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So the suggestion is that before you read this chapter, or when you read it again, or if you're listening to this chapter, I would say better yet, to listen to the chapter on a recording, that you do something that absorbs your mind. What does that mean? So most of us have any number of things that we can do, which in common, the vernacular, we say Zen out. Zen in the art of motorcycle, meaning Zen in the art of chopping the onion, Zen in the art of pulling weeds. So you might pick one of those that you know works for you, work at it for a little while, half an hour, whatever you want to do, and see if you can't get that union of the doer, the doing, and the object to which it's being done. Unifying the consciousness. And then listen to this chapter and try to let it speak directly to you as Krishna was talking directly to Arjuna. Actually, he wasn't talking to him as much as he was opening Arjuna's third eye, consciousness, and letting Arjuna see Krishna through his third eye, his consciousness. It's a completely, what's described as a completely super conscious vision of Krishna, to the extent that Arjuna can handle it. I think Tom would agree that, and maybe he can shake his head, that it's not portrayed as a 100% experience of Krishna. It's what Arjuna can handle. In chapter 11, we did something very similar, only the suggestion was to practice a shavasana or something similar, still the fluctuations of the mind. And in chapter 10, to listen to the description, the yana, and chapter 11, the vijnana, the actual experiencing of the description. So the two go hand in hand. 10 leads to 11. But it's worth a try. There's a lot of information that comes down to us through history that says people are able to do this. They have the capacity to have some divine experience. Tom, with that, I'll turn it back to you to wrap up.
Well, thank you, Lauren. And that's chapter 11. I encourage you all to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Yoga Century Chico YouTube channel, and you can see some of the other videos we put up. Lauren's got a good chair yoga video on there that you might like to check out. And I encourage you all to participate in our once a month, fourth Thursday of every month meeting. At that, thank you. Namaste.